All right, we're getting ready for discipline number 3, and that is going to be the standing block chop. Let's lay it out for you the way it works.
Standing block chop. At the standing block chop, the felling of a tree with an axe is simulated. A vertically positioned wooden block with a diameter of 30 centimeters has to be cut through both sides. A powerful and precise swing with the axe is the premise of a good result.
First heat of the standing block chop, Tristan Van Beek and Zach Brous. Van Beek.
Been a while since we've had a total rookie come in here to these championships and have a start like Tristan Van Beek has had today. Had the toughest time of all, points-wise. Well, excepting one DQ in the stock saw, but man, what a great start winning the springboard chop, and we're ready to watch him go up against Zach Brous. And there's Zach on stand number 2 in the standing block.
Tommy, I was watching the overall leaderboard as we were coming back from break there. Spots 2, 3,
Athletes
and 4.
ready.
Robarge, Van Beek, and Esch.
Timber.
Rookie, relative
3,
rookie,
2,
and our wiliest
1,
veteran
go.
are just up there wrecking havoc in terms of our Stihl Timbersports overall points.
Love
and
it.
Van Beek is ready to put on another clinic. Don't call me a rookie as he lays this standing block apart. 1 and 1 to open. Now he goes into a 2 and 2 pattern, drawing big chips. Zach Brous, though, so powerful, just destroys the top of this block. It's going to be Van Beek by 1 blow of the axe.
Had about 1.5 hits in before Brous. After Brous' first hit, but Brous again. Look at the slope Zach brought it to.
A tremendous amount of wood broken from Tristan Van Beek there. Got a little bit dog-legged, I think, at that finish. I got to go back and look at these finishes.
Both cuts are good.
Comes Tristan right here. I'm going to get a talk about that slope that you're bringing. You saw the wood was firm in the stock saw, slight mishap. No panic expression on your face. I like that. But talk about the importance of knowing the log that you're going to cut and knowing exactly what axe to use, but what slope to put on the axe.
To be honest, I thought that log was going to be a lot softer, and you don't really know what you're getting into until you put your first hit in. And then I realized it was firm, and I just tried to hold my slopes and put them in properly. Had to sneak my axe under a couple hanging chips there, so.
Okay. Anything else? So I want to talk about the axes, and you know, you bring up one axe, you bring up a spare axe, but you've got boxes of axes that these athletes bring at $600 a piece, and you have to have an arsenal, don't you?
Yeah, I brought 1 box of axes, and I brought my rigger up with me. I just used my best cutting axe and hope for the best, you know.
Great job, great recovery after the stock saw. We'll see how that time holds up. But your current leader in the standing block chop, Tristan Van Beek.
Well, the end of the standing block chop for Tristan Van Beek is where he really came through to shine. There he opens up 1 and 1, and he shifts that entire face up. You see his bottom hit is above that bottom line, as the top hit is above that top line. He shifted the whole face up, and watch what this does as he goes to finish this block. Comes in a little bit low there, but it doesn't matter. 1 near, now far, and he leaves that ear of wood up there. When he goes to drive this off, he is driving into fresh, clean air on the front side. It was Zach Brous' block that I had seen on TV on the stand number 2, where he was actually dog-legged a little bit. He was, as we say, driving the stump axe on the backside, going down into the bottom of the log instead of driving through into clean air.
There's your official times right there, 21.58 and personal best. Well, all of Van Beek's times are going to be personal best today. He has no history in these championships. Zach Brous, 22.35.
And he threw the standing block, the winner of the stock saw. Let's bring him out, Mike Esch. And one of the best standing block choppers from the East Coast, Calvin Willard.
Like watch Willard on the right, the massive amount of real estate he covers in his backswing.
Mike Esch Fresh off his stock saw win. With axe in hand and ready to get after it here, the veteran from Pennsylvania. Personal best of 23.62, so he could do well by setting a new personal best. Going up against Calvin Willard. Calvin Willard. Currently standing in 6th place in overall
Athletes
points.
ready.
Get some work done here.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
You know, Mike Esch with a little extra pep in his step as he came out here. I think maybe he had already discounted himself and his performance here in this qualifier here today, but he's sitting really great in terms of overall points. He's trying to lay waste to this. Love watching Calvin Willard take apart, strategically disassemble a standing block. He went to drive it, he could tell it wasn't there. Timber's a little firm. He's got to get that far fibers. There it is. Calvin Willard. Mike Esch had a lot of wood left in the front side of that block, but also gets it off under 30 seconds.
Now sitting on stage, looking at these logs, that is firm. The timing, the accuracy, picking the proper axe with the proper edge on it, all has to come together in order to advance to the finals. Mr. Hall.
Both cuts are good.
Boy, Calvin, you knew the blocks were firm. You knew the stock saw wood was firm. Did you change up your pattern in your head right before that standing block?
Well, I had an idea that it was going to be firmer than the springboard wood, which it was. So just ends up being a few more hits when you have wood like that.
You talk about, you know, timber sports in general. We all have our best events. We would say you're one of the best hot sawyers in the world. You got to get there. How important is it just to do your job, grab those points, and just look forward to the hot saw where you know you can grab them back?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we got multiple events to do, and you just got to do one event at a time and see what you can get for points in each event. So.
All right, Calvin, we'll let you go. Let you get rested up. Calvin Willard, tough block, did a great job. Let's watch
the replay, Dave.
Well, here we're taking a look at that run from Calvin Willard as he bails out of the front side of that log. Job well done in the front. Got plenty of timber shifted out of the front of that log. And watch as he goes into this back. These guys are used to being able to snap wood fibers at the center of these logs. The timber is usually soft enough. The timber is firm today, but, Tommy, I'll give him credit. It is consistently firm. Nobody's had a runaway block while somebody else is struggling. Everybody has had to deal with firm timber out here. Calvin Willard not super pleased with that time, but he knows that everybody is riding the same struggle bus.
Calvin Willard's time is at 25.45, good enough to hold him in 3rd place after just 2 heats in this discipline. And Mike Esch, 28.41, he sits in 4th. 2 more heats to go.
Third heat of the standing blocks, Josh Wilson versus Dakota Robarge. Wilson.
Boy, he's been tearing it up this year. There was a job in Webster Springs, West Virginia this spring.
Heat number 3 coming up. Josh Wilson from West Virginia going up against Michigan's Dakota Robarge. Josh had a rough start in the springboard chop, but trying to claw his way back into this thing now.
Yeah, good shot for him to do just that. He's been cutting standing blocks very well. He's got a tough dance partner, though. Dakota Robarge has been looking very strong in addition to Josh Wilson. This is going to be a barn burner.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Watch, both these guys are going to open 1-1, start chasing those corners. Chips are falling out very cleanly for Dakota Robarge, exercising some patience. I love to see that. Stuck around on the front side of that log, got the job done. Josh Wilson has a little more timber in the front side of his log. Oh, but Josh Wilson just powers through. A 19.2 is not a time to write home about until you get into this firm timber on this stage, on this day. That is a great time.
Both cuts are good.
Gotta get a quick word with Josh Wilson here. Josh, I can't get it out of my mind that cut you put up in West Virginia this spring in the final heat of the underhand against the best in the world. Everybody was watching, everyone but you, and you, the two hands skyward, the emotion that poured out, and you're bringing it to the BMO arena today. Talk about what that feels like going sub 20 seconds in this field.
Well, I mean, to do it in the field is good, but to do it on this wood is really good. So, yeah, I mean, I needed that. I'm in a hole, I got to dig out, and I had to have that. So, yeah, all the emotions are pouring into the axe right now. So
great recovery, great momentum. Keep it going, buddy. Into the single buck in the underhand coming up. Josh Wilson in the lead, under 20 seconds. Here we go with the replay.
Well, from the other angle, I watched Josh Wilson finish up the front side of this log, and I gave credit to Dakota Robarge. He stood in there and put some extra effort into the front side of the log. I thought maybe Dakota Robarge was going to get him, but in the back side of this log, Josh Wilson just leaned back and brought the gur, punched it in the gut. Didn't quite get that. That could have come off one hit sooner. The third from end last hit went into the guts of the thing. He did not cut those near fibers. He had to go back for one more near down hit, then went far. That one hit, yeah, it opened up the guts a bit, but I think that was a bit of a wasted hit. Maybe could have even had a faster cut in this firm timber.
Josh Wilson had a rough go of it in the springboard chop. He said, I'm going to forget about the tree and try to come back, and he's done just that. Look at him sitting on top of our standings right now with an 18.95.
I said, bring that block down here so I can get a good talking to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, on the ground works better. Dakota Robarge taking over second place with a 21.04.
Yeah, one heat remaining. We're going to bring out the man who actually chopped the final standing block for the United States team over in Europe. He's earned that spot. In just a few seconds, we will be bringing him out. Hey, how about a big applause for our stage crew replacing these blocks? They replaced the springboard poles, and they never get enough applause. Here we go. Final heat of the standing block chop. This is Trevor Bodri versus the man who's chopped for the U.S. team in the standing block, Nate Hodges.
Final heat of the standing block, time to beat an 18.95 from Josh Wilson. It's going to be Trevor Bodri on stand number one, going against the U.S. champion, reigning champion, trying to defend this week in Milwaukee, Nate Hodges.
Trevor Bodri, a great standing block cutter, and he needs to post one of his best standing block chops ever after a disqualification in the stock saw run. I'm a little bit nervous though for him. He came jogging out to that stage. He's just
athletes ready.
I don't know. I feel like he's got a little bit too much urgency, a little too much panic.
3, 2, 1. Go!
He's got to cut it fast, but he's got to cut it right, and he's got to beat Nate Hodges. Hodges, again, just breaking all conformity of the sport, choked up on that axe handle, and just has incredible axe speed and power. Hodges about one blow away. Oh, it hangs! Hodges, a 16.66. He says, I don't want to hear about hard timber. I'll show you a 16-second time. Bodri in that 21-second run. It's going to put him in that top 3 or 4. He's really needed to be up a little bit higher than that, though.
Both cuts are good.
Here comes Nate. Nate, that's got to be the fast 8-hit front I've ever seen anyone put in. Talk about the final blows. You know if you wrench the block off, it is a disqualification. You got the blade stuck in there. You have the presence of mind to pull it off, sever it with the blade, but sometimes the adrenaline, I got to say, I've never seen you bring that speed, buddy.
Yeah, Dave, I was going to say, whatever you do, don't zoom in on my facial expressions as I'm driving that off. It might be kind of scary. Yeah, you know, I knew going into it, it was a little bit of a firm block, and the 8-hit front wasn't all there, and had to do a little work in the back, but put him in fast and it worked out.
Yeah, you put him in very fast. I mean, you were driving at about 13 seconds. You had the time to take a few extra, no panic, but we'll see what happens. Like, sometimes that blade, like you said, you're sort of hitting in no man's land. If you don't hang the axe out, you can get that stick, and that's what happened.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave.
All right, we're going to let you go. We talked to this guy all day. All right, get out of here. Single buck coming up for Nate Hodges. Here's the replay right now.
Well, here's a look at that run from Nate Hodges. Had one get away from it, dropped down, and goes into those round up hits. The block splits along the grain. Now, these competitors have to put in fasteners to hold those blocks in place, so that's not a DQ. Gets into the backside, not the choked up Hodges we've seen in the past, but amazing axe speed. And there again, put one right into the middle of that block like we saw in the last heat. Did not get him where he wanted to be, much like Josh Wilson. Had to go back, pick up that hit again, shift the axe to the inside of the log to get those fibers that were hanging on.
Well, by more than 1.5 seconds, it's going to be Nate Hodges taking the top spot, taking the win in the standing block chop. Official time of 17.45. Josh Wilson in his 18.95 is good enough for second place. He's moving in the right direction. Dakota Robarge, his time of 21.04, has him in third place. And Tristan Van Beek coming back with some more chopping here in the standing block chop, and he's in fourth place when we finish that discipline.
First heat of the standing block, Billy Cornelius and Cassidy Shear. Boy, you thought Cassidy could cut well, 9 feet in the air on a springboard. Watch this again, the massive swing.
Well, Billy Cornelius coming off a top 4 finish. In the previous discipline, the stock saw, going up against former champion here, Cassidy Shear. Cassidy Shear's personal best in this is 15.22 in the standing block chop. He is a strong chopper. Billy's going to have his hands full.
Yeah, this is a bit of a mismatched matchup in my book. As you mentioned, Cassidy Shear, he's down in the low 15s, but he's seeded in heat number 1 because of his performance in 2024, where he posted about a 20-second time, 19.5-second time. So Billy Cornelius has got a race on his hands. Cassidy Shear ought to take this one pretty handily. Wow. Very clean cut from Shear as he has worked his way back. He's got no more wood left to cut. He's out into the backside now. Billy Cornelius right on his heels. Shear looking to drive already. That's a lot of timber. There goes Cassidy Shear. Beautifully drove through an immense amount of timber on the backside of that log. I thought that was a little premature based on how firm the wood has been here this weekend. Cassidy Shear said, just stand back. Hold my beer. Here I go.
There you go. Watch this.
Look at that pig's ear sticking up. Look at the amount of wood he broke.
Both cuts are good.
Ready to get Cassidy over here. Maybe we can get Cassidy to take his axe out of the sheath and show the crowd exactly what he used. Cassidy, you did that 1 up and 1 down pattern. Just phenomenal. We saw a lot of the logs yesterday. Look at this thing. This is absolutely, tell us the dimensions of that bad boy.
This is 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. I'll swing an 88 in the underhand, but
an 88 meaning 8 inches wide, 8 inches long, and you're also given the opportunity to grease the axe blade up, just helping to retrieve the axe off.
It helps the axe stick less. I don't know if it actually works or not, but everybody else does it, so I do it.
All right. Yeah. All right. Good job, Cassidy Shear, your leader in the standing block. That's going to be tough to beat.
Let's look at the front side here at Cassidy Shear. He had 1 hit get away from him on the far side of that log, stepped up the upward hits on the far side of that log, gets into the back though, and I misspoke. I said he broke a lot of wood. He actually drove a lot of wood, slicing through an immense amount of timber, just leaving that, we call it the pig's ear, sticking up out of the top of that block, just slicing through with beautiful slope, presenting that axe well. Axe was liking that block. Not a fast time compared to what we're used to seeing, but again, firm timber here this weekend. That could be a winning time or a top 2 or 3 time.
Definitely a different baseline on wood this special week here in Wisconsin and Wisconsin native Cassidy Shear laying down a 19.24 for top points after all of one heat. Came into this in overall points in the top 4 and would love to remain there.
Doesn't get any easier. Cassidy Shear, look at the snap at the end. Heat number 2 of the standing block. Big Mark Boquin versus the winner of the stock saw, Aaron Hovas.
Heat number 2, Mark Boquin of New York going up against Aaron Hovas of Missouri. Personal best for 18.68 for Aaron, 18.53. Should be a good matchup between these two big men competitors. So as you mentioned, Mark Boquin, not as big a man as he was before.
He's just as big of a man, just not as much of a
man within is just as big. Yes, absolutely.
Mark Boquin is a great guy. And
athletes ready.
About his training and his transformation.
Timber. 3,
done a good
2,
job.
1, go!
Aaron Hovas just drawing chips right out of the gate. Bit of a boxy block. The grain is a little bit squirrely, but man, that axe is liking it. He goes, oh, a slip from Hovas on that turn. He goes 3 upward drivers across the bottom of that. I think he's going to be looking to drive this pretty quick. It's already wiggling. Fiber hanging. Wow. Small hit back. Aaron Hovas, a 17.63. That is a blistering pace from anyone we've seen here this weekend. Boy, a switch flipped for Aaron Hovas during that chop. He knew that axe was loving that block. It was coming apart well. He brought some gur on that chop.
Both cuts are good.
All right, we're going to bring Hovas in here. He looked rushed right off the start. He just did not have the grease on his axe yet. He slammed that down, got ready, and almost looks like you got yourself a little bit of chip there. When you kind of came down a little bit, you slipped on one of those pieces of wood on the stage. You were like you're on roller skates the entire time, buddy. Maybe that's the key to get these big cuts. Talk to me about what you were feeling, buddy.
A little bit of everything. A little bit of pain, a little bit of happy, sad, I don't know. A little bit of everything, but yeah, no, when I set that last driver, the one chip clocked me right in the face, and I didn't feel great, but it wasn't that bad. And then coming around, I stepped on the chip, and you never know what's going to happen then. But caught myself and turned out pretty decent time. Would have been nice to have found out what it would have been if it would have went smooth.
Yeah, when you almost did a full split there on the way to the backside of the log. I couldn't believe you kept it together. Folks, give Aaron a big, big round of applause. What a cut in the standing block.
Let's look at that run from Aaron Hovas. You see the grain just separating, chips just flying out of the block. Bit of a dry block, but it is a little corky. Maybe the bottom of the tree goes 3 across, and there it is with a little bit of ice capades here on the stage. Those 3 drivers, though, across that front really got the work done in the front. That sets him up for these back drivers to come down through. Didn't line up perfectly, but it got the job done. Couple fibers on the far side he had to chase, but good cut for Aaron Hovas. He knows. Big fist in the air. Official time there. You see it. A new personal best for Aaron Hovas, again, in not flash timber. No. So to have your best cut ever under less than ideal conditions, big feather in his cap.
All right. Boy, this is going by fast. Okay, our next heat, third heat of the standing block chop. Our leader overall, Logan Scarboro versus Alex Storm.
Logan Scarboro taking the overall points lead into this third discipline of the day. Going off on stand number 1 in this third heat of the standing block chop, up against Alex Storm on stand number 2.
But Tommy, the first 2 heats, I looked at him, I go, yeah, so-and-so over, so-and-so, and so-and-so over. I got a pretty good feeling of how it was going to sort out. A little bit of unknown with Boquin and what new Boquin chopping looks like. This one, I don't know. This is going to be a race.
Timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
The winner of the race may be the one who doesn't mess up, who doesn't miss a hit. Love what I'm seeing from Alex Storm here. Opens 1-1. He's got, he left a lot of wood in the front of that log though. There is a lot of cutting to be done. Now into the back, that axe is hanging up. I'm shifting favoritism over to stand number 1.
Oh, no,
it isn't, it's Alex Storm. Wow, did he just drive through timber? I don't know what happened in the back of that log. From my perspective, it looked like the front of that log had more cutting to be done. He knows more than I do. That's why he's down there, I'm up here. He got around to the back and just drove through that log.
Both cuts are good.
That is a tough one when you got to go back and do like a little karate chop with the axe there, Dave.
Yeah,
to get that block to sever.
Hey, Alex, come on over here. Well, you won the stock saw. You're just riding a wave right now, buddy. Great chop in the standing block. Talk about it.
Oh, man, yeah, that was a good cut. I knew that was a good block. I think a lot of folks are thinking about the wood yesterday. I was thinking about my block. I knew I could cut that in 8-8. Had I not hung the heel, would have been a lot smoother of a cut. I hung the heel on the far down hit. Held me up for a little bit. Threw off my pace a little bit, but otherwise it was good.
Talk about situational awareness. Are you aware of your opponent and what's happening over on that other stand? Or is your mind just dialed into your own block?
I'd say only when you're not competing well, you're aware of what's going on. If your mind's not in your block, in your cut, then you're not cutting well. So that block, all I knew was that I was going to turn around and try to get it off as fast as possible.
You're having a great day, buddy. Enjoy it. Keep the momentum going. Let's watch the replay.
Well, here's this run from Alex Storm as he goes to put an 8-hit face in. He's put 1-1, an up and a down. Then he goes to a 2-hit pattern. That, to me, looks like a lot of wood left uncut. There's a wall of wood there that's just begging to be cut. But clearly those upward drivers penetrated deep into the middle of that block. That allows, when he comes into this back round of downward drivers, those two meet up. The block breaks across the grain. Tough finish, though, for Logan Scarboro. Just a handful of matchsticks holding the top of that block from falling off. He has to go back and give it a couple small karate chops to get that block finished.
Well, how about Alex Storm there? He won the last discipline, the stock saw, and he's got the second. Well, he's tied for the best time. Not 1/100th of a second separate him and Aaron Hovas. Unbelievable, both sitting at 18.32 officially. Tied for first. Both of those guys definitely in the top 4 in overall points right there. Alex Storm on top. This rolling coverage of the standings here. Cassidy Shear in second place. Logan Scarboro, a little bit of a slip up here in the standing block. And Aaron Hovas occupy the top 4 spots.
Heat 4, final heat of standing block chop. Walt Page versus the world record holder in the standing block, Matt Koger.
Walt Page on stand number 1 going up against Matt Koger. Matt Koger, big time misstep there in the stock saw. A little bit of a bump in the road for 7-time U.S. champion. I think he'll be looking to rectify that a little bit with a fast time in the standing block chop. Walt Page, though, is a man who's been on his form. Had a great showing at the North American Trophy Championships back in May.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, 2 titans in the standing block chop. We watched them go head-to-head in the springboard, and we're at it again. We've taken basically the same block of wood. It's a little bit bigger. Now it's nailed firmly to the stage. Small advantage, Koger into the backside, but this man drives, there it is, drives a tremendous amount of wood, and he does so right there on cue. Matt Koger putting on a clinic in this standing block chop. 14.43 showing his unofficial time right now for Matt Koger. You know that time is going to shave away. I think that unofficial time is...
Both cuts are good.
I wanted to go over there, Matt, and grab that block just to show the crowd, but you guys are on a roll here. There they go. We'll do it. We might do it in the finals tomorrow, buddy. I've got a feeling we might see you there. You broke the world record. I mean, you just are phenomenal in the standing block, but you don't seem to take it for granted. You're always studying your technique. You're always kind of just micro adjustments. You go down to Tasmania. You train with your good friend Dale Beams. Talk about what it's like to really never have an off season.
Well, you know, everything changes. Your body changes, your mentality changes, and it's always you versus the wood. So you do have to change your plans from time to time, and it's great to go down to Tasmania, and Beams has helped me out a lot. Didn't really start cutting good standing blocks about 2015, and I was just learning good technique and learning more about the sport and just applying it, and that's just kind of what I try to continue to do, just to keep putting the best cuts I can forward and still learn from my mistakes.
As you said earlier, if I can just echo that, a good friend of yours, Matthew Gurr, said, know your body's mechanics, and it's working for you, buddy. Great job in the standing block. Keep it going. Clean up that stock saw tomorrow in the finals, will you? If you get there. We're going to see Matt Koger in the single buck coming up.
Well, here is that run from Matt Koger. You see him pick up that far wood with that down driver. Watch this hit roll around and chase that far wood into the backside. He is about one hit ahead of Walt Page, and that's not where Walt Page wants to be in this race. Matt Koger drives a disgusting amount of timber. There it is. Drives and shears an amazing amount of timber. He's right there with Jason Lintz and Cassidy Shear. Just absolutely crushes the end of that block. If you're entering the backside of this log, a hit behind Matt Koger, you're in a rough parking spot.
Absolutely. That is a tough neighborhood. Matt Koger, top points, 14.23, 2.5 seconds ahead of Walt Page, who occupies second place after that outstanding last matchup in that discipline. Overall standing shows Matt Koger back on top there. Yes, well, still on top, I should say. 2-point lead ahead of Alex Storm. Alex Storm having a great day. Walt Page hanging in there very well. Now there's the all-important fourth spot there. Cassidy Shear, Logan Scarboro tied on points, 14 each. That's what today is, what this is all about.
First seat of the standing block chop, Brad Jones and Dave Moses.
Here we go. Heat number one of the standing block is going to be Brad Jones. Brad Jones doing quite well here, keeping himself in the top four. That's what this day is all about as we head for the midway point. We'll be there after we finish the standing block. Going to be going up against David Moses in this one. David was fourth place in the overall championship here back in 2013. A lot of years, great competition for the man from Washington State.
2, 1, go!
Up against Brad Jones with a lot of minutes of competition,
Yes,
a lot of hours of competition.
It's a contrast, you're saying.
Yes, I think it's exactly what it is. Brad Jones, and look at him, taking a page out of the book of Tristan Van Beek. Don't call me a rookie by rookies. This is just exceptional chopping here from Brad Jones. He's got a lot of wood on the far side, though. He may have gotten a little greedy. The axe is hanging. There he finds the fiber. Wow. Look at David Moses reeling him in at the end. This is the veteran up against the wily rookie here, and Brad Jones almost gave that away. Could have cut a little more in the front side of that log. David Moses, in contrast, did a ton of work in the front side of that log and had very little wood to cut when he got around to the backside.
Both cuts are good.
Now we got to work with Brad Jones. Brad, it looks like he's ready to leave the stage already. Come on over here, Brad. You know, a lot of the athletes, I say it all the time, a lot of the athletes, they cut their block and they just kind of walk off stage. You're walking towards me, you looked at the block, kind of glared at it. What did you just learn from that scarf?
One more up in the back would have saved 4.
And now where would you have put that one up hit in the back?
Well, I tried to just take out my knee, I think, and take it off, and there wasn't enough chip cleared out, so I didn't I was trying to go through too much. Let's put it that way.
All right, Brad, thanks a lot. I see you're sweating, you're tired. We got 3 heats left in the standing block. Brad Jones, the time to beat, though. He's having a great day today.
What do you see, Dave? Firm one. Very confident.
Well, here is a look at that run from Brad Jones. There's one problem right there. Some far wood just waiting. He's took out a loan on the front side of that block, and he's going to have to pay it back. There's a great shot. Look at that left side of the block from our perspective. That big wall of wood. That is going to come back to bite him. Now, in the back side of the log, he mentioned 1 up hit may have saved him 4 down hits. Yes, that's true, but also that near wood now was a lot tougher to cut because of the far wood he left on the front side.
Well, Brad Jones by less than a second, getting by the veteran David Moses. Heat number 1, personal best listed for him at 24.97 seconds.
City of the field with Jason Lintz, who just had trouble in the stocks on this final heat. In the meantime, we've got 2 more tremendous athletes coming up.
You know, we've seen another, somebody puts down a time in the mid-20s and it ends up getting him points. Moses just breathing it in.
And you see
Look
him
at the
taking
face.
You see him taking an extra second out here right now, Dave. He's absorbing this all. He announced on Facebook earlier this weekend this was going to be his final trip to Milwaukee for the Steel Timber Sports Series. So, folks, anytime you see him come up this weekend, make sure to let him hear it.
Second heat of the standing block, Tyler White and Grant Foreman.
Going to be Tyler White on stand number 1 going up against Grant Foreman in this one right here.
Well, I tell you, Grant Foreman is just an absolute animal in the standing block. You saw how well he
Grant
cut the
Foreman,
springboard
an accomplished chopper. Tyler White's put in the hours as well.
It's going to be a dogfight here. I'm going to say slight advantage to Grant Foreman.
Well, Tommy, it'd be interesting to see how Tyler White holds up against Grant Foreman. Grant is an absolute clinician in this standing block chop. Did not live up to his own expectations last year, and just needs to kind of put that behind him and put up a typical Grant Foreman cut here. Tyler White maybe in the underhand with an advantage, but I'm really going to think Grant Foreman. Wow, Tyler White with a massive front face, had a hit get way high away from him. Grant Foreman doing about as much as you need to do, no more, no less. Tyler White putting in some really powerful hits, clearing chips, but Grant is driving near, far, takes it apart, very technical cut. Hooked the heel of that axe and set himself for a spin. Sub 22nd time, not his personal best time, but we've said it multiple times. Timber a little bit on the firm side here this weekend. A sub 22nd time is nothing to scoff at.
Sitting ahead of him here in the standing block, he's got to calm down.
Both cuts are good.
Wow, what a cut by both of these athletes. Grabbing every steel point they can. Grant Foreman was ready to go. At they bring that spare axe out. Grant Foreman at the last second had to get that axe out of the way of his front foot, because some of these athletes, that front foot will kind of walk around the stage as they go near, middle, far. Grant Foreman, let's talk about that. You got your spare axe, you almost stepped on it, buddy. Right before go, you had to get that out of the way, but your front foot, it really does maneuver as you're near, middle, far. Some athletes keep it in one place. Some athletes actually walk. They say walk the stage. Talk about how important it is to keep the footing clear.
That's right. You've got to have your footing clear. And in that block, I noticed a little bit firmer, so I wanted to put 3 drivers up. And you saw me walk around the log a little more so I could get all the way around it. That made it come off easy. That's why that last blow, I took the whole block with it. So probably saved me a swing in the back to do that.
How's your back? A little Timber Sports on ice pirouette when you came off. How you feeling?
Yeah, a little adrenaline. It's doing okay.
All right, go rest up, buddy. Grant Foreman leading, sub 20 seconds. Let's watch this replay, bud.
So step number 1, prepare the work area. Grant Foreman just gave like a $600 axe, a little boot out of the way. That was exactly where he wanted his foot. But with that out of the way, time to go to work. 1 and 1, then a 2 and 2 pattern. Watch him chase these corners. 3 hits across the bottom. Has to kick a chip out of the way. He is just playing soccer out there with all sorts of dangerous items. Into the back. Watch this near, then far. Smokes off a ton of that far wood. Just buries the heel of that that axe. It actually hooks the top of the block and sends him for a little spin.
Grant Foreman. Good job there, 19.17 his official time. Needed that. He had dropped out of the top 4 down into 6th place, and that is going to right the ship a little bit there because he can do no worse than 3rd place. No, excuse me, he can do worse than 3rd place. I got ahead of myself there. We have 2 more heats remaining in the standing block chop.
All right, here we go.
And ready to go with heat number 3, Matt Slingerland going up against Arden Koger Jr.
Oh, this reminds me a lot. We talked earlier about Arden Koger Jr. up against Jason Lintz, where previously, you go back, a couple few decades, it would have been a young Arden Koger Jr. going up against Mel Lintz. In this case, it'd be Arden Koger Jr. up against Maddie's dad, Mike Slingerland.
Yeah, right.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Both of these guys coming out of the Mid-Atlantic region, going for decades head-to-head against families. Really synchronized chopping here. I'm watching these guys. Man, they're neck and neck. Maddie Slingerland, though, is going to drive. Wow. I was going to say he's going to drive that off at about 1 more blow. Didn't even let me finish his sentence. Arden there near, now far. Maddie Slingerland just had a massive front face. He was beyond halfway through that log. Wow, what a cut from Maddie Slingerland, 16:28.
Both cuts are good.
What a cut for Maddie Slingerland.
Boy, what a response from Maddie Sling. Maddie, I think it's important that we define timber sports athletes, not by if an event goes wrong, but how they follow it. And you followed a tough springboard, you still got second. No, you're disappointed. You just laid down a massive cut in 16 seconds. Talk about that unleash of power, unleash of emotion.
Yeah, hey, Dave, I knew it was a good log. My coaches have been saying just attack them because I've been a little too careful trying to place the hits. And that's what I went out there to do. It just worked out.
Yeah, it worked out all right. Beautiful, those 1 and 1. You take 1 up, 1 down. And if they're not lined up perfect, that chip will hang right in your path.
Yeah, I knew I was going to put 8 in the front, and the chips were clearing pretty good. So once I put those drivers in, I knew I was past halfway. And then at that point, it's just stick to your pattern and hammer down.
All right, great job, buddy. Take a rest. These guys are sweating up here. Not just you and I, Dave. Here's the replay.
Well, let's watch these two Titans go head-to-head. 8-hit front and a big 8-hit front. Maybe the hits didn't go exactly where you want, but like you hear Maddie say, his coaches are like, you know what, sometimes you just got to send it. Maybe the hit's not going to go exactly where you want it to. Not a bad-looking front face, and it went deep. Cleared a lot of timber out. That set him up to drive off and finish. Fist pump for Maddie Slingerland. Hopefully he can carry that momentum through into the finals.
Matt Slingerland beating the time to beat by almost 3 seconds there ahead of Grant Foreman, so he takes over the top spot. Matt Slingerland, a guy who always arrives on the property ready to go. He has finished first place in pool qualifying 3 of the last 4 years, so he comes prepared and ready to excel and overachieve when he gets on the property here. Matt Slingerland leading in overall standings as a result of that, of course, as it stands right now, and Grant Foreman in second place. But we got 1 more heat left to go in the standing block.
Man, Milwaukee, I can tell the beers are flowing out there. How's everybody feeling out there today?
I'm feeling like watching this final heat. Let's bring them out. Final heat of standing block, Ben Nicely and Jason Lintz.
Going to be Ben Nicely on stand number 1 in this final heat. Nicely had some ups and downs during the course of today. Jason Lintz pretty much on track, but not his usual. He's used to being near the top in these pool qualifying rounds. He's going to show us something here, I can guarantee you.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, nicely cuts, a very nice standing block chop. His opening blow, a little bit of a hang up. Nothing like starting out with a hiccup on your very first hit. Jason Lintz absolutely crushes standing blocks. Watch the wood that Jason Lintz is going to drive. Oh, it's not going though. It's not shit. There it is. Boy, that almost didn't go his way. 16.93. He was chasing that time from Matty Slingerland. I don't think he got him.
It's going to be real close. We're going to get another time of Matty below 16. He may be grabbing a win in the stand line. Regardless, great cut by both these athletes.
Both cuts are good.
Much needed points there for both these guys. Nicely staring down that block, saying, man, it was firm, but came off on time for him.
Yeah,
He's pumped
Jason
about
Lintz, let's just talk real quick. You know, you've always been one of the hardest hitters in the world. A couple years ago, I noticed you were training with Lawrence O'Toole in Australia. Spent a lot of time. You came back and you found more speed. Am I correct on that, or is this an illusion? You're fast now.
Yeah, going down there and chopping the hardwood makes you react to the axe quicker. It comes back out at you, so your reaction time gets better, Dave.
Yeah, great cut, Jason. Again, he says you have to react to that axe. You have to know to get. It's almost like you start pulling the axe out before it penetrates the log. Jason Lintz getting
some help from that Australian champion, Lawrence O'Toole.
Let's watch this front side with Jason Lintz. Stepped down the top. I don't think that was intentional. Started to run out of some timber. Got it done though. Got his 8 hits in. Gets around to the back, and that would explain why it didn't drive off. He now has that big chunk of wood between his top scarf and that line where he should have been, and he did a beautiful job driving through it, but that kind of explains that extra drive, maybe 2 on the backside.
Well, there's Matty Slingerland on top. He's going to win the standing block chop with a 16.28. Jason Lintz's time just behind him, a half second, 16.72. Let's take a look at the overall standings, and it's Matt Slingerland on top. He does that when he comes to this dual competition. That is for sure. Jason Lintz, 3 points behind, tied with Ben nicely for second place. Grant Foreman rounds out the top 4 with 12 points right there. On the outside, Tyler White, Arden Koger Jr., Brad Jones, and David Moses.
First heat of the standing block chop, Trevor Bodri and Mark Boquin.
All right, discipline number 3. This is critical here. The field gets paired significantly after 3 disciplines are complete. Heat number 1 going to be Trevor Bodri from New Hampshire up against New York's Mark Boquin. Mark Boquin really needs to do something pretty big time here. Pull a rabbit out of his hat.
Even that, Tommy, may not be enough.
Yeah.
Mark Boquin is just the
Athletes
nicest guy you
ready.
could ever meet. It breaks my heart to see him in this position.
Timber. 3,
Best
2,
case scenario
1,
for Mark Boquin
go.
right now is just to lay waste to this standing block chop and be a points disruptor. Trevor Bodri has a great looking cut going on in the background. Bodri around to the back. He probably could have cleared a little more wood on that far side, but I think he's got the right axe, the right block, and he'll just drive it off near. Now he's going far. He's crippled it. There it is. Trevor Bodri showing a 1946. That is the best we've seen all season.
And just a tough one. Mark Boquin right on his up-hit line. That downhand, he was about 4 inches below his line, short the chip, and it just magnified the troubles from there.
Both cuts are good.
Well, Trevor Bodri just glaring at his log after the block was severed. Trevor, we talked about the changes you made. Stylistically, you made some adjustments. I believe you told me it's the timing, the release. I saw you when you were warming up. You're holding that head back a little longer, creating that acceleration. Talk to me. Tell me if I'm right on that, bud.
Yeah.
a lot of the standing block is, it's keeping that axe head back so it kind of explodes into the log, and you kind of preload through your hips, almost like a golf swing in sort of a way where you preload through the hips, and then that tension pulls through the body, and that then creates like almost an elastic whip type motion. Just looking at it after, knowing where I could save some hits, but that'll be a decent time.
A great time, sub 20 seconds. These logs are tough. You really got to work at it. Stick around if you want to watch the replay. If not, we'll let you rest. But I love it. I mean, it was amazing to just watch you find a whole new level last year. We had some single elimination chops. You were right there with Jason Lintz. Everybody said, well, Trevor changed something.
Yeah, so last year I was in a pretty good vein of form. I'd say I'm not quite there this year. I'm cutting pretty well, but not quite the same level I was this weekend last year, but that was still not a bad cut for me. We'll see if they give us the...
Yeah, we will get the replay in just a moment. Here we go, bud.
Here's a look at Trevor Bodri in the near ground, Mark Boquin in the background. Really a tale of two chops. Trevor Bodri, a nice clean front in this log. Mark Boquin in the background got a little pinched in the far side of the first face of that log. See all that wood down below his top line. Boquin gets in the back, starts driving one of the guts, reaches over far, severs those fibers. Wasn't sure where it was holding up, but punched it in the guts one more time, found those fibers, broke it off. Good finish for Trevor Bodri. Not his personal best time, but we're not really looking at personal best time timber here this weekend.
Trevor Bodri, the elastic whip type action there. That's a good term. I like that. Good enough to put him in first place. Time of 19.25 has him atop the leaderboard.
Yeah, look at that time. 19.25 seconds for Bodri, current leader in the standing block.
Let's bring out a second heat of the standing block. Tristan Van Beek and Dakota Robarge. Van Beek.
Heat number 2 just about ready to go here. Tristan Van Beek in his first trip to these national championships will be going on stand number 1 against Dakota Robarge, who really had his breakthrough experience here at these championships last year. Went on, did well in North American Trophy competition. They kind of sent him on his way last year when he made that big leap.
I was exceptionally impressed with Tristan Van Beek in the springboard, the standing block.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Very tough sledding, though. He is in the Mark Boquin clubhouse, unfortunately. Yeah. Wow, look at this cut from Dakota Robarge. Super clean, chasing each hit in. These guys turning in sequence. Van Beek also looking good, looking to drive one near, one far. It isn't going. It's Dakota Robarge. 17:24 for Dakota Robarge. Pump that fist, buddy. Season's best time, a personal best time for Dakota Robarge.
He's a phenomenal springboard job. I think we're going to see him cut a springboard circuit, but then it moves forward backwards.
Both cuts are good.
And we'll get a quick word with Dakota Robarge. Again, Dakota's first year in timber sports was on this stage last year. Dakota, tell us about that cut. How does this year differ in your mind from your first year here last year in timber sports?
Well, you know, I've kind of been doing it my whole life, so I just try and go out there and do my thing. Yep. And Tristan, he's a good competitor, and he's been laying down some good times in a standing block. So.
Yeah, you knew you had to go. It looked like Tristan had a couple scoops in the backside. Your up hits were precision, very flat. How important is that? When you stair step, as we call it, you really do lose penetration of the axe.
Yeah, you hit too straight in, and the axe doesn't go as deep as you want. And then if you do that, your drivers don't meet up, and yeah, it's hard to drive it off.
All right, thanks, Dakota. Big round of applause, Dakota Robarge.
Here's a great look at the front side of Dakota Robarge. As Dave Jewett says, we don't like to see stair steps. We want to see it just one smooth sheet of glass. It's exceptionally hard to do. You're bound to see stair steps, but obviously you want to avoid it at all costs. Dakota Robarge into the back of this block. Both these guys were driving together. It was just Dakota Robarge one swing ahead of Tristan Van Beek.
Good stuff and a good race between two guys who make their living as professional lumberjack sports athletes. Popular shows here in the States. Dakota Robarge, though, getting the best of that one. A time of 17.01 has him in first. And Tristan Van Beek, his official time 18.32, second place.
Heat 3 of the standing block chop, Cassidy Shear and Grant Foreman.
All right, here we go. Cassidy Shear still reeling from a DQ in the last discipline. Going to be on stand number 1, going up against Grant Foreman. Foreman trying to hang in there in our top 8. Very, very important.
Of Foreman on their right, the speed of Shear, the massive swing of Shear.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Lots of pressure, lots of attention on Cassidy Shear. That DQ in the stock saw puts him on the chopping block or very near the bottom of the pile. He has got a race going on. Grant Foreman around the back of this block honestly is cutting a cleaner log. Cassidy's got his work cut out for him near far.
Oh, wow.
Cassidy Shear drives off so clean in the back, showing a 17.9. Should nest him in right behind Dakota Robarge. What a finish from Cassidy Shear.
Much needed.
Yeah, he's definitely on the chopping block. We're looking at 4 competitors leaving us after the standing block run. A DQ, like losing a third of
Both cuts
points.
are good.
Tough.
No, luckily it stayed
Boy,
right in the
was...
center of the scarf, and it didn't get in his way. Didn't deflect the axe at
ask him
all.
about that. Go give him an interview, my friend. Cassidy, boy, I'd love to hear that. He timed that go perfect.
Cassidy, one of your favorite events, the standing block chop. You couldn't wait.
It's not my favorite event anymore. I've had the standing block monkey on my back for the last 3 years, and I exchanged it for the stock saw monkey.
Oh, that's now your favorite event?
No, it's the event that plagues me here in the Steel Timber Sports Finals.
Well, what did you see in that cut? I mean, you had that big chip hang in the back, but you avoided it and still were able to deliver a great cut.
Yeah, I haven't cut an 8-8 standing block here in 4 years. And that's kind of the benchmark, and it's going to be middle of the pack, and I'm happy about that. So,
Cassidy, I know that you've got a lot of fans out there. Who would you like to thank for being here?
I want to thank my girlfriend, Erica. She's so supportive. And also, a unique thing about Timber Sports is I want to thank all the guys backstage. Yesterday, Pool B, I had 3 or 4 guys in Pool C or Pool A say, hey man, do you need a hand with anything? I had a hot saw issue earlier. Nate Hodges was right there with his tools and his help and got me situated again. A bunch of great guys. Keep on cheering them on all day here.
Cassidy Shear, everybody. Great cut here in the standing block chop.
Well, Cassidy Shear chopping for his survival here in the standing block. He needed an exceptional cut. He needs as many STIHL overall points. Watch him open this 1-and-1, starts chasing corners, but that big slab of wood is just hanging in there. It eventually clears itself, punches it near, punches it far, drove off a tremendous amount of wood. We love to see that big pig's ear sticking out of the bottom of that block. That means he drove off into fresh, clean air, did not stuff the axe into the bottom or the stump of the log.
Official time of 17.74 for Cassidy Shear. Has him in second place as it stands right now. We have multiple heats left to go, 3 of them specifically, and he can just only stand by and watch and hope that that time and that position at least holds up or something very close to it.
Storm warning, Alex Storm and Ben Nicely. Heat 4.
Alex Storm going up against Ben Nicely. Ben Nicely, pretty decent day here today. Alex Storm has had a few bumps in the road along the way. Did a great job of qualifying for these finals for the first time, so that's a breakthrough already for him this week.
Yeah, Ben Nicely, I'd say more than a pretty decent day.
Yeah, he's great.
You looked at my cheat sheet over here. I did not have him sitting quite so high in the standings. Not because he's not a great cutter, but this is the 12 best of the best in the
Athletes
nation.
ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
And we'll see if he can still carry it with discipline. Number 3, a little bit of a hang of the axe for Nicely in that opening downward drive. Alex Storm putting in a really clean cut. Both these guys around clean upward drivers, textbook chops, 8 hit fronts. Who did more damage in the front though as we go to the back?
Wow! No!
Ben Nicely had a cleaner front side. Alex Storm, I don't know, just a little more aggression, broke a little more timber, slightly faster swing speed. I'm not sure where he found that fraction of a second, but that was all he needed. Look at the backside of Alexander Storm's block. He is chewed into the guts of it with a big wing of wood on the far
Both
side.
cuts are good.
Both these guys, smiles on their faces after that cut.
Comes Alex Storm. What's going on with you this year, big guy? Boy, you were lighting it up. We were talking about the earlier tournaments this year. You raised a lot of eyebrows with your standing block chop and another great cut. Talk about that.
Yeah, I'd say standing block is typically my best event. It has been my favorite event. I can use my length of my body, my hips, to try to create a big arc with the axe. As long as I use my height and reach high, keep the slope, these axes can do a lot of work in the log.
And tell us about how you started in the sport. Who coached you in this standing block?
Yeah, so I started competing at Penn State Mount Alto as a college competitor. I had 2 great coaches, Craig Houghton and Beth Brantley, were 2 of our professors, gave us a lot of basic techniques. And then after that, I kind of started hanging around with Hardin Koger Jr. and the West Virginia crew when I was in grad school, and that really helped me kind of take it to my next level.
Thanks a lot. Big round of applause, Alex Storm.
Well, a lot of good help along the way, and it paid dividends here today. If you can take down Ben Nicely in a standing block, you're doing something right. Watch as they get around to the backside of this log. It was just a slight advantage for Alex Storm. Things start to unravel, though. You see him step up that near hit. He's now lost that cuttable wood. Tremendous amount of wood on the far side, but he drives through. Wow. Dangerously close, Tommy, there to almost a wrenching call. I don't think it was a wrenching call. It may have just been way that his axe handle came down a little bit at the end, but you see the axe head kind of pop that block off at the end. Be curious to see that one more time, but just an exceptional finish.
Alex Storm with a time of 18.12 officially, puts him in 3rd place as it stands right now, in 5th place for Ben Nicely, an 18.36, a little bit off his pace so far today. Well, we got our defending champion in the next heat here. Let's hear from him on the standing block.
You know, standing block, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna open what's called a 1-and-1. 1 hit up, 1 hit down. I'm gonna start to read the wood on those first 2 hits, but I'm really just gonna go 8, you know, and if I feel like it's really firm wood, then I'll put a 9th hit up. It'll be 3 up on my last rounds. And then I'll get to the back and I'll know, like, hey, if that was really hard, I'm gonna have to do a little bit more work in the back than planned. The front of my block's already basically planned out. I'm gonna stick with that pattern.
Let's bring that man out. Heat 5 of the standing block chop. Nate Hodges and Jason Lintz, a Richter scale rumble.
Time to beat is a 17:01 from Dakota Robarge. Our top time so far with 2 heats left. This is heat number 5, and Nate Hodges, defending champion, going up against Jason Lintz, former champion, 2-time national champion.
Tommy, we've got 2 heats left, but the stage may not survive this one. 2 of the heaviest hitters, definitely in the country, maybe in the world.
Yeah, there's a piece of seismograph go off somewhere.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
The one thing that these 2 gentlemen differ in is reach. Jason Lintz will have that axe way out away from him, long arms. Nate Hodges just puts ridiculous amounts of power in a shortened swing. Look at him punch the hits into the log. Hodges looking to drive already. It might be premature.
Oh, no. Wow.
Oh, wow. What a finish between Hodges and Lintz. Hodges can only shake his head and smile. Things got a little out of hand at the end of the chop for Hodges, and Jason Lintz stuck with a more traditional pattern, ran that front end a little bit deeper, and drove off cleaner in the back.
Both cuts are good.
Absolutely incredible heat there by both these athletes.
And we'll get a quick word from Jason Lintz. Jason, hopefully they put you on the right stand this time, buddy. Great job. You knew you were racing against Hodges. He put an incredibly fast 8-hit front end, but sometimes you can go too fast and kind of get sloppy with your hits. You stayed with a slower, accurate hit. How did you feel?
I felt pretty good until the back opened up 1 and 1, and there was a bit of a pitch pocket in my block. My 3rd up hit, I was trying to get away from that pitch pocket, but yeah, that hit did pretty much nothing, so cost me a hit or maybe 2.
All right, thanks very much. Big round of applause, Jason Lintz. We're going to see if he took down Dakota Robarge, David.
Well, one thing you'll never hear is a timber sports athlete say, yep, that's as fast as I could have done that. There's always a change. There's always an improvement. Jason Lintz, though, watch as we go into the finish of this block. You see Nate Hodges relying on his power, trying to punch through, coming in a little flat, and just a ridiculous amount of timber there. Jason Lintz applying slope, had a huge front face cut in that block and drove through cleanly on the back despite the difficulty at the bottom of the backside.
Jason Lintz just a tiny bit ahead now of Dakota Robarge as he moves into first place with 1 heat remaining. Nate Hodges, 17.49, has him in 3rd place. With 1 heat to go, of course, this will change, but it's Lintz on top. Points right now, actually tied on top with Nate Hodges, but the points leader coming into this one, into this 3rd discipline, has yet to chop, and he will be up in the 6th and final heat.
And Matt Koger still to come.
Wow, 6 heat already. The final heat of the standing block chop. Maddie Slingerland and the world record holder, Matt Koger.
All right, Matt Slingerland probably wants a good fast time. If he can keep up with the man he's up against, he will get one. Just incredible to watch the 7-time champion, Matt Koger, go after this in the standing block.
This was a discipline yesterday in his qualifying round that he did go after. Posted a solid time, finds himself in the top heat up against Maddie Slingerland. Maddie just doesn't seem quite as focused today or as relaxed
Athletes
today
ready.
as he did in qualifying rounds.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
1 and 1, not surprising these guys will be putting in 8-hit fronts in this log. Boy, Matt Koger, no wood left to cut. He had done all the work on that slight advantage going into the backside of the log. Matty Slingerland, wow!
Oh, man.
Matt Koger, season's best time, drops it into the 14-second range. All the people that were watching qualifying rounds going, I don't know. Matt Koger just looks a little flat. I don't know if he's got it this year. Finals day. Finals day, finals day.
Finals
it's
day.
Always a
That's
different
it.
story on finals day.
Yep.
Both cuts are good.
Yeah, Matt. He said that log was way better than his underhand log, and he proved it right there.
Matt, you opened the backside with plenty of slope, and you just said, let's have at it. You hear athletes helping each other, and when they say, come at it, that means drive the block off. You had the slope to do it, and your eyes were this huge driving that log. You found another gear again in this final round.
No, it was a great block to chop, and, you know, like, you get pretty excited whenever things start happening like that, and then that's why the eyes just got real big, driving that much wood, and it come off right nice and clean, and so, yeah, there's another one.
You know, as I say in the front, you have to take a quick inventory of the work you've done in the front. Tell us how many hits you took in the front, and how far was it? Were you halfway or past halfway?
I think I was just past halfway. I mean, that's the thing you got to remember is, like, wherever you left off in the front, that's why you got to pick up the wood in the back.
Great cut, Matt. Something tells me you're moving on. You're going to keep going today, buddy. Great job.
I've lost track what's coming up next. I just want to watch the replay.
Let's go back and watch this cut from Matt Koger. I agree, Matt Koger was way over halfway through. The second to last up driver on the near side sliced probably 2 inches past the center of that log. That sets it up right there for that far downward driver on the backside to line up and snap off that pig's ear. Beautiful textbook finish from Matt Koger.
Show of force there, no doubt about that. A time officially 14.10, and top points for the third discipline in a row for Matt Koger. He is putting on a show right now. Jason Lintz in second place, Dakota Robarge in third, and Nate Hodges in fourth place. Matt Slingerland was second place in that heat with a 17.64. And there are your overall standings after 3 events. You see Matt Koger on top, significant lead ahead of Jason Lintz. It's 7 national championships for Matt Koger, but it's been a couple of years. He may be a little hungrier than normal. That's the way it goes so far, but we're only halfway through the proceedings here. Unfortunately, we look down at the bottom of that leaderboard, and we are going to have to say goodbye to Alexander Storm, Cassidy Shear, Tristan Van Beek, and Mark Beauquin. Well fought to get here to this final day, but the scores demand that we pare the field down to 8 after our third discipline of the day.